I'm Daniela. I'm student of Tech de Monterrey, and this is a homework for my business communication class. First, I want to know where you come from and how long you have been living in Mexico.
Okay, so I am from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, born and raised, and I've lived here in Guadalajara, Mexico for 4 years, 4 años.
Okay, it's cool. Okay, well, I want to know your insights about some topics of Mexico, about education, politics, economy, and culture. Okay?
Okay.
The first topic is education.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, the first question is, what do you think about the education of Mexico?
What I think about the education in Mexico? You know, to be quite honest with you, I don't know if I can say a whole lot on the education system in Mexico, but I'm surprised and disappointed that I guess I'm not sure if the education system here is good or not. I don't really know. I do know, I guess the only thing I can say is that I can judge it off whether people speak English to me or not. Because to me, I think if people speak English, that means I think they're educated. And if they don't speak English, to me, they're not educated, or they might have less money or poor.
Okay.
And I've noticed that when I talk to people who can speak English, most of them typically are educated and have money, and the people that don't speak English typically are poor.
Yeah.
Now, I find that interesting. I don't know if that's because of how they were raised or the education system is the cause of that. I don't know. But I did notice that because everywhere I go, like when I'm in an Uber, I'm like, hablas inglés. Everywhere I go, I try to see who speaks English and who doesn't. I've noticed a trend that people that have money usually speak English.
Yeah.
So.
Yes. Well, how you can compare the education of Mexico with the education of your country?
If I compared it to the States, well, actually, when I went to school, to university, I actually graduated to be a teacher. So I I have a pretty good idea of what the education system looked like then. And our education system, it has its good parts and bad parts. I think the biggest problem with our education in the States is that we don't pay the teachers enough. They don't get enough money. So therefore, you're seeing it's hard to attract high talented people to be teachers because, quite frankly, they don't pay them enough. Like me, that I left because the pay was low. So I was like, why am I doing this? Why waste my time? Not waste my time, but why spend so much time when I'm not getting paid for it? And here in Mexico, I don't know if it's year-round schools or not. I don't know. I'm not sure how the education system compares to the States. I would imagine because the USA is the USA that have a lot of money. I'd imagine our system is probably higher than Mexico, but I don't know to what level. I'm not sure. It's hard to say.
Okay. What will be the most important thing for you to teach young people in Mexico?
If I was meeting a child in Mexico, I think if I'm a kid in Mexico, I think speaking English to me is the obvious most important thing, because I noticed that the jobs that pay more are for people who speak English here as opposed to not. So I think the biggest thing for little kids is to speak English. I know it sounds weird because you're in Mexico and you should understand Spanish, but I just noticed the jobs, at least from what I've seen, the higher paying jobs, people speak English. I mean, even at the Tec de Universidad, the professors, they all speak English. I mean, it's not by accident. So I want kids to speak English.
Okay, well, perfect. Well, do you like politics?
The politics here in Mexico? Do I like it? Or do I like...
in general?
I try to be honest with you, I watch politics from afar. I don't like to get caught up in the semantics of who's right, who's wrong, and I try to look at it from a very, middle of the road, try to analyze this, try to analyze the information, see what I can learn from it, see if I can help or benefit in any way, and try to learn that way. But I'm not like online trying to create hate or trying to get people to sway towards one direction or another. And I don't know, it's a part of life, but it doesn't define who I am. I like to know about it, but I'm not making an impact in it in any way. At least at this point in my life. Like if you told me, hey, run for president or something like that, that doesn't interest me.
Okay, what do you think about the new president of Mexico?
AMLO?
AMLO.
You know, it's funny. I think he's corrupt, like all the other presidents. And he might pretend that he's not now, and he might be saying all the right things that people want to hear. But I think Mexico, from the ground up, from what I've seen, is corrupt, from the police to everywhere. So to me, it's entranced in the culture. So it's kind of like in this way, a virus. You can't really kill a virus. So I don't know whether it's AMLO, or it's another person, or it's another person. I don't know if they can really change anything. It just seems like it's bigger than just them. And it feels like it's at every level of politics. And therefore, and it's troubling because you've seen the cartels control that. Like I read about it, how they, have a lot of money, and they, El Chapo is the perfect example of, controlling politics, controlling government, using money and paying people off. I mean, that's corruption at its highest form. Here in Mexico, that's the norm. Which, if that was happening in the U.S., which it probably is to some degree, but if it was happening like it is here, it would be crazy. People would be up in arms. There'd be war. So I'm surprised that it's. I mean, I hope AMLO changes. I hope he can make changes and be impactful. But if I was betting on it, I would bet against it. I'll be surprised. The other thing is, I'm surprised that they get 6 years. In the States, it's only 4. So to me, 6 is too long. And maybe I just feel like if you're gonna have by year 5 and 6, I mean, what if they did years 2, 3, and 4? They're terrible. You just keep riding that out. Like that just seems nonsensical to me. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
So I did read about when they were doing the voting for AMLO and stuff, and I was reading and I was looking at the different candidates and I was watching information about it, and I was just like, none of the candidates stood out to me like as great. So I'm just thinking, wow, Mexico doesn't, like the U.S., we had Trump and he was in a good choice, and then in Mexico they don't have great choices here either. So I was disappointed, to be honest. And I asked a couple Mexicans, I was like, what do you think of AMLO? And some liked him and some didn't. It was kind of 50-50. But it's interesting. I don't know. We'll see what the future holds for Mexico. It's a big deal because if it continues to get worse here, it's going to make things more. It's going to be more friction with the United States. If he can change things, it'll make it less friction, and hopefully, like Trump's talking about a wall and building. That to me, that's just stupid, and it's unfortunate that he has to think that way. That let's keep him out. To me, between the United States and Mexico, it should be a win-win partnership. We should be working together and winning on the things that we do. And we don't. It's sad. So I don't know if AMLO would change anything. I don't know.
Okay, so you think Mexico is a corrupt country?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay.
No, I can't. I don't have any facts. I can only. I have it from what I hear and what I've seen. Like for example, cops have pulled me over and want money to pay them off so they can and not really give me a ticket. They're basically just, and it's scary for me. I'm nervous. I'm here, and that would never. That doesn't happen in the USA. I mean that's crazy.
Okay. If you were Mexican, what would you want for this country?
If I was Mexican?
Yeah, if you were Mexican.
I would want less corruption. I would I would not want the drug cartels to control cities and control politicians and be able to pay people off and be able to. I think I would want weed to be legal here. I don't know if it is to any degree, but I would want it to be like completely legal, so at least it takes that away from the drug lords and so forth. And I would want less corruption. I would want us to have a better relationship with the U.S. I would want, because Mexico is never at war with anyone. They're only at war with themselves. It's the government versus the cartel. And you see, I mean, that's not like that in the USA. I mean, you just don't, it's not to the degree that it is here. Like, I live near a military base, and I see guys like in regalia, like full, and I'm just like, what is going on? Like, I'm just thinking, what are they preparing for? Mexico doesn't get in war with anyone. And then it dawned on me, they're preparing for that. And it's, I think if Mexico can find a way to turn that upside down and make, and so I think of people, instead of joining drug cartels, if they found other means to make money, like tequila, or got on farms, or found other ways to create revenue, kids at a young generation wouldn't join drug cartel. Because you only join something like that because you're alone, scared, you see your friends doing it, and you have no other options and no other choices. And if that's your only choice, those guys are, you're part of what's already there, and it's sad. That needs to change.
Okay,
it's scary.
You live scared here in Mexico?
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Do you live scared here in
Mexico? Do I live scared? I only live scared here at night sometimes. At night when I'm walking, because I get looked at a lot. Like, what is a gringo doing here? Like, it's not the normal. I stick out, which is different for me. In the States I'm just American. But here, if I'm the only American walking around, but I'm not. When I first got here, I was definitely scared. I was like, I had my guard up. I was like expecting, I don't know, I expected what I saw on TV, like that Mexicans didn't like Americans, and that it was going to be a whole thing. But it didn't really happen that way. People were actually very curious who I was and what I was doing, and they actually wanted to practice their English with me, which I thought was interesting. And but it is, I'm only scared when the police, only around police, because I don't trust them. I've seen, to me, because they can, they threaten to take my car, threaten to, take everything, just for some money. It's, to me, that those people are the ones I'm scared of, which is weird. You would think I'd be scared of other stuff, but I'm really just scared of that.
Okay. Now, the next topic, economy. Do you know what is the lowest salary in Mexico?
Do I know what the lowest is?
Yeah.
If I had to guess, it's really low. I've noticed Mexico finds a way to do more with less. Yes. Meaning, people here have little, but yet find a way to be happy. Which tells me they don't need, in the U.S. everything is marketed to you. You need this, you need that, you need the car, you need... where in Mexico, at least from what I've seen, people have little, and they're very resourceful, and they find a way. And but I imagine the economy, at least from the lower class, the poor, it's low. The salary's got to be extremely low. And they find and somehow they make it work.
Okay, so you think your country has a good economy?
The USA?
Yeah.
I think we're okay. I think we could be better. I think there's a lot of. We're in debt, so realistically, other countries have. China really owns the USA, so we're not. Even though we appear to be a healthy country, I don't think we are.
Okay. Well, I know the government of USA is too flexible with his people to give them credits or something like that. It's okay or no?
You mean credit cards?
Yeah, or
in the USA?
Yeah.
It's easy to get a credit card and easy to get papers and easy to do things in the USA. Where here, I don't think it's as easy to do that.
No, here it's very difficult.
Right, which I think is stupid.
Because people it's has deudas. Do you know what it's? And the bank is very strict with this part because the bank think that the people they don't pay
Trust.
Yeah, trust.
Right. It's a breakdown of communication, and again, trust is huge in that, and it's sad that the banks don't. Hence, that prevents people from getting ahead and be able to buy a house or do stuff like that. Like it's sad. It's backwards. I don't know why it's like that. I don't know where along the way it became that. I don't know.
Okay. Do you like the culture that Mexico has?
Yeah, I think Mexico. I call it the Wild Wild West. It's very, it's very free. It's very Mexico. The family part of Mexico. People really care about their families. They really they make that a staple in their culture, like family first. And I've noticed that more. We're in the States, family's there, but and I would say for some it's not. They take it for granted. We're here in Mexico, they don't. Like I see every Sunday, people spend time with their family, and I see they're very, that's integrated within the culture here, which I think is awesome. I think they're fun. Mexico reminds me of fun, like it's fiesta, it's a party. Like there's a lot of of that more so than I see in the USA for sure, and which I think is great. Like I said, even under duress and the situation that Mexico is in with the corruption and so forth, they still find a way to have fun and enjoy life. And in Mexico, at least the people I've seen, they don't need a whole lot to be happy here. Like I was always raised at least that you need money and you need this and you need that. And I've seen people with nothing here still happy and enjoying their life. So that made me kind of pivot how I thought about that. And but I think people are caring. I think they've been nothing but nice to me. Outside the police, I've had not one situation where I was, felt endangered or, at all. And people, like I said, fun, free-spirited, and anything goes in Mexico. Sometimes I'll see stuff I've never seen anywhere else. I'll be like, and I'll just laugh. I'll be like, oh, it's Mexico. So it's interesting like that. Where in the States, there's more rules, I would say, in certain situations, where here it's a little bit more lenient. So, but yeah, the culture's been great.
So you think the people in US prefer material things? Yeah?
Absolutely. I mean, you're kind of programmed to want the nicest watch, the nicest, the car, clothes, keep up with the Joneses. Like you're supposed to, all your friends are supposed to have the same kind of things as. Yeah, I mean, absolutely. Your TV, lots of commercials cater to you, wanting you to buy their stuff. Yeah, absolutely. Like they don't want you to think for yourself.
Okay, and what do you prefer, the culture of Mexico or the culture of USA?
It's different. I think I would take the best of both.
Oh, okay.
Right? I don't think either culture is perfect, but I think I would take the best of both of them, and I think I'd combine them together.
Nice.
Yeah, I think for me that would be the perfect culture. So I wouldn't really pick one over the other, because like the family aspect of culture, I think that needs, and then the fun needs to be more embedded in the USA, because like you're seeing in the States, you're seeing like riots, like people up in arms, and like it's like a culture right now of just like racism and like I don't see that near as much in Mexico. Like I haven't seen or read. I mean, you see from the cartel, you see deaths and so forth from that, but you don't see like Mexicans like. Well, with that, was there any with AMLO? Was there anybody like up in arms about him running for president? Was there people like screaming about that? Was that happening? Because in the USA, when Trump won, it's like affected the culture for sure. It affected the country everywhere. People either really hate him or they really like him. There's really no in the middle.
Okay.
Yeah, it's scary.
Yeah. And now, what do you think about Mexican traditions?
Mexican traditions. You mean like the Day of the Dead and stuff like that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think any of the. I think. Look, you have traditions because they're important to you, right? They mean something to you, and I think having traditions like that, I think, is great. I think in Mexico, from what I've seen, they're very, in their holidays and things they do, tequila. Like, there's certain things like tequila. Like, when I think Mexico, I think certain things from traditions, from people talking and so forth. And I think Mexico has a very strong tradition when it comes to traditions and culture. I think they're very proud people. I think they really care about their country. And I think they're just, to me, I think they're frustrated with the whole drug aspect because it feels like it's the big gorilla in the room and nobody can really figure out how to solve the problem. And I think if they could solve the problem, I think that would change everything. And I think that's what happens every single president. I mean, I watch all these documentaries on Netflix about El Chapo and Sinaloa, and I watch all this stuff, and I'm like, it's crazy to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what was your favorite tradition? What is your favorite tradition in US?
In the USA?
Yeah.
Tradition in the USA? Gosh, I don't know. I think tradition. I think when I celebrate like holidays with my family, like over Christmas, we all get together and meet and have a family tradition where we all hang out and enjoy our company and have gifts and stuff. To me, that's fun. I enjoy that tradition. I like it, and it's probably the best for me.
Okay.
Spending time.
Do people in the US consider the Black Friday like a tradition, or?
I would say yes. Black Friday is a tradition, but it's kind of like it's changing. The tradition, and the reason it's changing is because, and this is something that's happening in our world, is that we used to go to stores and buy stuff and pay for it. What's happening now is Amazon is kind of taking over. And there's a shift happening in our culture right now where instead of people physically going to stores, buying stuff, they're just buying it online. So what's happening is malls where like people would go for Black Friday, those malls are starting to disappear. Those stores are going away because you can't make money. Because people are buying stuff on the internet, online, through like Amazon and eBay and etc. So the tradition of Black Friday is still happening, but to a lesser degree. And you're even seeing more people buy stuff online. But it's definitely a tradition. Do I like it? No, I hate it. Just because it's a lot of people, and you're ultimately trying to save some money. Again, it's that whole you need this mentality, and I don't think like that anymore. I used to think like that, but I don't now.
Okay. And finally, the most important question.
Sure.
Do you like tacos?
It's funny. When I first got here, I used to eat tacos all the time. Like it was like my friend showed me tacos, and I'm like, oh, these are amazing. And then I was just like taco, like I just eat them all the time. Then I realized, and then it dawned on me that they're not really healthy for you. There's like some of it's healthy, but not all of it. And I ended up pulling back. The novelty of tacos wore off, and I still like them. I eat them, because they're part of Mexican tradition for sure. They're everywhere. And I still eat them, but I eat them on a way lesser level than I did when I first got here. It was like it was like kind of, it's like that newness of something, and then eventually, that goes away.
Okay.
Yeah.
What is your favorite Mexican food?
Mexican food? Favorite Mexican food? I'd say tacos, to be honest with you. Yeah, because they're simple, they're easy, they're fast, and they're always great. It's hard to mess up a really good taco in Mexico. Matter of fact, I can't think of many places I've gone and I've had a bad taco. I don't know of any where I walked away and was like, oh, it's terrible. I do know this, that I had to learn the word sin cebolla, no cebolla, because I don't like onion, and I noticed Mexico puts onion on everything, and I was like, I got better now at saying sin cebolla, so I learned that right away.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we already finished. Thank you very much for giving me a little part of your time. And I think that's all.
Yeah? Good?
Yeah.
All right.
Thanks.
Perfect.